it?
Yeah, it started recording.
Lovely. Right. Hello, guys. This is number 2 of the podcast, and today we've got Miss Machin. So, Miss Machin is PE teacher, athletics academy coach, KS3 leader.
No, I'm Key Stage 4 now.
I was close.
Academically, yeah.
And she's going to answer some questions for us. So, first one is quite a general one. So, how has COVID affected you?
To be honest with you, do you want the positives and the negatives?
Yeah.
All right. In the negative sense, it means that obviously we can't go to school, so I have to spend time looking at a screen and my eyes are getting worse.
Yeah.
In another negative way, it means I have my son and daughter can't do their club, so they're at home 24/7. So I have to think of different ways of actually then getting them to do some sort of activity.
Yeah.
It affects you in that you can't go out. So whereas I would normally coach and meet lots of people to train with, my life isn't really about coaching at all. My daughter's just making a funny noise. And I just can't see family. And that's, I suppose, one of the things that people find really difficult, because my mum lives in Egypt. She came over for Christmas and I have not seen her since. I just haven't seen her. I can see her, but I haven't seen her. Yeah. And the same as my sisters and my nephew, who's only 2, and we've just missed out on so much with him as well.
Oh no, yeah.
Positives,
yeah.
I'm not Uber. I'm an Uber driver for free. A positive is I can spend more time with my children in the evenings rather than doing loads of clubs, etc., and me driving around being Uber. The negative is that they don't get to do the clubs, but the positive is I actually get to spend time with them and I can hug them more. The weekends we can go for walks with family, and life is a little bit more gentle. So I haven't had to drive here, there and everywhere, especially when I do weekends for UK athletics. I now find that I'm doing them online rather than having to drive to Lee Valley to do technical sessions. Yeah. So there are some positives and there are some negatives. Another positive is that I can actually sleep a bit more. And I've been able to train with my son as well. Sorry, my life revolves around athletics and training.
That's good, because that's what we were going to talk about today. Because I'm super interested in like what you've done and your like sport career, and I don't know. You're actually a very interesting person, Miss Machin. Believe it or not, you are. You're fascinating. So that actually leads quite nicely onto my next question. So, like, what was it about athletics, and how did it start, and kind of bring it all back to the beginning?
Okay, so I started athletics when I was 10. My mum used to run, and I used to be in all the sports days in primary school in Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 1. Because we had primary, middle school, and then secondary school. So in Surrey, it was a little bit different. So in primary school, which was Key Stage 1, I used to come tie first with this girl in every single race in each sports day every year. And we went down to the local park, to watch my dad play cricket for the church. And at that time, there were people running. And I said to my mum, that girl I could always come tie first with, she's over there training. My mum said, well, if you want to improve and beat her next year, you've got to go over there. You've got to decide to do it. You going off. I was like, okay, well, let's go over. And that was it. I just started training and I was hooked, and I have not had any real time out since I was 10 years old. But that's
I was going to say.
Started athletics when I was 10. I had a very complicated home life, and you only realise that when you're older. I had a brother although by the time I was 10, he'd already died.
Oh.
And then my dad left when I was 4, and I had a stepdad, and I had a lot of sisters. I had 4 sisters. And so athletics was my way of actually being me. And it was only just down the road. So my mum didn't have to drive me. It didn't cost, relatively speaking, athletics is quite a cheap sport. So you don't have to pay for all your coaching. You just have to pay to get onto the track. So my mum could afford it because I was a PP student. And so when I went down there, it was just me and my body. And so it was a release. I didn't have any of the other bits. Also at school, I found it really difficult. I wasn't academically endowed, and I had delayed learning. So I didn't actually come into my own until my degree. I really struggled in school. So I was never the best at anything. And I had, I wasn't very good at spellings or anything. I was good at maths, but I wasn't very good at spellings, etc. and English. And took a lot of effort to be any good at anything at school. Whereas athletics, I could be somebody and I could achieve. Initially, probably not so much. It was more long jump that I could do, but I actually found that I came into my own. And so therefore, there was something I could put my effort into and see progression and see results and see the fruits of my work.
Yeah. And do you think, going on a little bit of a tangent, but do you think in darker times in your life, athletics has been the main kind of saviour?
And church.
Yeah.
Athletics, because my body, and I could rely on my body, and that didn't tend to let me down. And also, if I was injured somewhere, I could do a different event. So athletics was there, and the church was always there. Like my faith, that was something that I had. So those two were the constants in my life, as well as school.
Yeah.
I never had days off school, even when I was ill. If I was sick in the morning, I wouldn't tell anyone until I got home so I could go to school.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's just like, and like, so with athletics, was it like everything about it, or was there like a particular event? Because I know high jump was a strong one.
Yeah, any sort of power event. So jumping and running. I used to love sprinting. I'm not a speed merchant by any stretch of the imagination, but I preferred speed in any plyometric. So the hurdles and any jumping. In fact, triple jump I really enjoyed later on in life. But when I first started in the pre-century, when I started last century at doing athletics, triple jump wasn't available to females. They only introduced it in like the late 80s, 1990s, and then I was only accessible to younger students really recently. Yeah. So I didn't actually get into triple jump, whereas I could have done, because actually I've jumped over 12 meters in triple jump. So I probably should have had it been there when I was younger, because I didn't jump 12-20 until I was 40. So had I been able to jump when I was younger, I could have actually probably been a triple jumper.
Because usually with like sporting careers, and what I know of sporting careers, and why I think athletics kind of really holds its own, is that, you know, say a footballer or a rugby player or something like that, it tends to kind of halt at an age or a certain age, and then that's kind of it. Whereas you're still going, and you're still competing and stuff like that. And
I know.
I don't know. I suppose it's one lucky, but that is why athletics kind of, I think, really does hold its own in certain kind of terms of sport.
Yeah, there is longevity there, and I've been so blessed with the longevity I've been able to have. Especially, but I don't think I ever met my peak, because I didn't ever have a high jump coach per se as high jumping. And when I was at university, I got my first international when I was 17 for multi-events for heptathlon, after doing one heptathlon. That's quite cool. And then so I never actually just had a high jump coach. So I don't think I ever reached my potential. And so therefore I stayed at a level, but I was able to continue at that level. And where I would train for multi-events, I was actually a lot stronger, and my bone density is such that I've actually got quite a big bone density, and I've got quite physically broad shoulders rather than metaphorically. And so because of my structure and my body structure, I was actually able to keep going because I got less injured, and any injuries I had, I could actually cope with. So in that sense, just for my body systems and my stereotype, I was it lent itself to be able to do the sport for longer. And also psychologically, it's absolutely love it. And when I was an international, I was an amateur. I wasn't a professional, and I only started to get paid or got any money later on in my career. So when I went to Europeans and Europa Cup and World Cups, they started to give you money. But I'd been in a stage where I didn't have any of those external influences and motivators. And so I didn't have those triggers. And my trigger's always been when I jump over a butt, it feels so good. And when you're flying through the air off a long jump board, you just like, the feeling's amazing. And so you still want to keep doing it.
Yeah. It's like an addiction, really.
No, it is. It is. But it's an addiction where you know mentally you're not going to be harming yourself. It is really good for you anyway. And then I've been doing it for so long that without it, I just think I wouldn't be the same person.
Going on with like internal, external motivators, because it's funny you say that, because have you heard of James Smith, PT? No. Well, he's an English guy that lives out in Australia and has kind of adopted the Australian way of life. But he does a podcast, and he was talking about that the other day, and I found it really like eye-opening about most things in life we actually do for external reasons, so like money or etc., etc. But it's really nice to kind of hear, because probably now, like in a younger sense, is like people aspire to be a footballer. Yes, all right, they love football, but the money is probably definitely a huge draw. Yeah. And like it's really nice to like hear that you did it and you're still doing it just purely because you love it. And I think that's something that should be definitely inspiring to new or younger athletes and stuff like that, is that you've got to do it because you love it. Otherwise, the whole thing is almost pointless.
Yes.
So, next question is tips for younger people that really, really, truly want to succeed in kind of the athletics world.
Well, all success is achieving the goal you set yourself. That's success. And success could be competing for your club. Success could be competing for your country. Success could be getting your personal best. Success. So it's all about the goal setting. It's all about using smarter to set your goal and then do everything you can to achieve your goal, because that's the goal you know you want to achieve. And if you set that goal and don't really do every step towards that goal, then you set yourself up to fail to achieve the goal you wanted to achieve. So you set yourself up. Your goal should be something you want to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be saving money for a particular holiday, you will save up if you want to go to that holiday. If it's to buy a house and you definitely want to buy that house, you will save up so you can buy that house. And the same goes for anything in sport. If you have a goal, but if you really want to achieve that goal, you will do everything in your power to achieve that goal. And so that is the whole aim of actually achievement in sport. So I set myself a goal every year, and my goal when I got to the age of was to actually, I want a record now. I know in my head I can no longer get a personal best. And throughout my career, I always said that I didn't mind not winning if I got a personal best. And in fact, in some competitions, especially low-level competitions, I would prefer not to win with a really bad score, or really bad height, or a really bad time. I would prefer to come fourth, fifth, or sixth, but get my best score, because my aim was always to improve myself. But now I've got to the age where I'd already peaked. At the last time I peaked was 36. So I got to the age where I could no longer improve, especially after having children. So now my goals are, right, I'm going to get the world record, or I'd like to get a British record in that event. And so, but I don't just sit and think, yeah, I'd like to do that. I sit and think, so what now do I have to do to achieve that goal? Do I have to diet and get to a certain weight? Do I have to hydrate myself? Do I have to have a certain amount of sleep? Now, what training do I have to do? There's no point in me going on longer runs when I want to high jump. So I need to do some plyometric training. I need to make sure my core is good. I need to make sure. And the days I don't want to go training, those are the days that I should. Because I know that if I don't go, I'll get into the habit of not going. Yeah. And I know the same for school. If I don't go to school, or if I say, oh, I'm really ill, I'm going to stay at home, I'll get into that habit. It's psychologically, I know I won't, but then I tell myself I will. So then I need to do those. So it depends on what drives you and how much you actually want that goal. And think about something you've actually worked for to get a certain goal. And then say, right, is this what I really want? Yeah. And it's the same as when I say to year 12 and 13s, which university have you chosen to go to? What do you need to get there? If you really wanted to get there, you would work the hardest you can to get to that university. If you don't work hard, then maybe you should think about, is that the right university for me? Because obviously I don't want to go because I'm not working hard to get there.
Yeah. So it's in terms of dreaming big and being optimistic, but also being realistic. And I think that's a really good point, actually, is that a lot of people have such unrealistic goals, which is amazing. They're dreaming big, but you're never going to achieve that goal if you don't do the small, boring goals before. So like going to the gym every day, or if you enjoy long runs, but you know that's not going to help you, making the habit of doing what you need to do rather than what you just think's right and what you want. And sometimes you've got to kind of bring yourself down that level and kind of get real, really, isn't it?
It's just learning yourself and learning how to control your growth mindset.
Yeah. So next one, kind of on the flip side of that. So I'm sure everyone's kind of dealt with some sort of rejection in their life and stuff like that. So with terms of sport, how should people deal with not getting the best score, or picking themselves back up, or being rejected from a team, or not getting into the next level, or stuff like that?
What you need to do is think, what can I gain from every single experience you have? So if I go and I don't compete, I've been to certain competitions and I've no heighted. But what then I need to say is, why did I no height? What happened beforehand? What can I learn from this experience? How did I feel, and how can I change that? Rather than, I'm useless, I'm hopeless. Or, that wasn't the best place. When I coach, and I also do all my coaching as well for the love of coaching, and I was coaching one of the girls and she came over, she goes, oh no, I'm in lane 7. But that's the best lane for you today. And she was like, what? I was like, but today, when you run, lane 7 is the best lane for you. Because if you don't believe that, you will never believe, you will always moan. But you can't change that. And I used to have a poster on my wall at home when I was younger. And it was, God grant me the sincerity, but not everybody believes in God. But just knowing what you can change and change it. knowing what you can't change and accepting what you can't change and making what you can't change the best for you. So knowing that she couldn't change that lane 7 meant that she then had to believe that was the best lane for her that day. And so knowing what you can't change, but if you can change something, then set out to change it. So like, loads of people moan about different issues and different things in the world, but unless they actually go and make a mark for themselves, there's no point in complaining.
Yeah.
So you need to create the environment that you want to achieve in, and you need to do your best to create that environment for yourself. So if you're eating the wrong foods, try and change those foods. And if you say, well, I really like this, tell yourself, no, you're allergic to chocolate, even if you're not. And then you tell everybody else you are, and then you have to believe you are. So that's a high scenario, but that's what you need to do if you want to achieve your goal. You then have to change your perceptions and your attitude towards situations.
Yeah.
So you have to accept situations.
Love it. And so kind of drawing back away from sport, because you are more than sport, and there's a lot to you. So how has kind of sport influenced other areas of your life? So your family, your work life. I know it's still a PE kind of situation, but
sorry.
But how is it like positively influenced other areas of your life?
I think it shapes you to be the person you are, and I think it teaches you again how to make goals and how to stick to them. It teaches you to be the person you need to be and encourage others to live a healthier lifestyle. But I think with the endorphins, it actually teaches you through sport, you can see another sense of achievement. And I think that kind of rubs off. You have more energy.
Yeah.
I've sometimes got a little bit too much energy, but also and you're driven to make or encourage your family, especially my son and daughter, to actually get out and do things.
Yeah.
Even if it's to go to the shops, but it teaches you how to look after money, and it also teaches you how to be, how to centre, how to relax, because you've had to learn to do that, and how to focus on the things that are more important.
Yeah, because generally I think people that aren't really involved in sport just think it's a physical thing. But I would say that mentally.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely helps you with focus.
Yeah. So just kind of rounding up now, any goals for 2021 or the next 5 years or whatever, both sport and just kind of general?
2021, won't mind breaking. I haven't got specific goals this year, and I didn't set my athletes specific goals this year on the purpose that not for them to be too disheartened that they don't actually have the ability to achieve them. So I said, as and when we know what's happening and what competitions we can actually have, then I'll write your targets for this year. So this is the first year. Normally in their Christmas cards, I put their targets in them, and I give them bronze, silver and gold targets for each event that they do, to actually allow them to have, this is what I can achieve, this is what my coach thinks I can achieve, this is the bonus achievement. So they have those goals every year. All my athletes have those goals, and I kind of set them myself, my goals as well. But until I'm in the next age group, I definitely want to start aiming for and challenge myself to go back and do a multi-events.
Yes. Go on, miss. I love it.
That's something I want to put and lay down, because I'm sure I could do that. I know I can, as long as I put my mind to it.
Mental. It's all up here.
I know. I've been doing sessions, which is probably my nemesis.
Yeah. And that's everything. Is there anything for like the listeners, the year 10s, 11s or 12s and 13s, just a little message for them?
I don't know. be comfortable with yourself. Learn how to love yourself and learn how to actually focus not on what other people say about you, but how you feel and how you're reflected, and not worry about other people's thoughts as long as you are actually on the right line for you. So as long as you know what you are, as long as you know what you're focusing on, don't allow other people to actually get in the way and provide negative thoughts into your own persona. So learn how to stay positive.
Yeah. So it's a difficult task, so should be on everyone's to-do list.
Learn how to be positive with yourself.
Right, that's everything from me. Thank you, Miss. That was amazing. Bye, guys. How do I stop recording?
You have to go into prison and then go and press stop recording. So go into those little 3 dots.